Good morning. This is Eric Humphrey from Quiet on the Set magazine, and I'm here with the great Cora Master Berry. She is a I remember her from UDC because I was a student there. So was a phenomenal professor. So she's also a community activist in Washington, D.C. She's also the wife of the late, great Marion Barry, mayor of D.C. And she's here with three wonderful scholars that's presenting their talent and their gift for the Blacks in Wax tonight on Channel 16 at 7 p.m. Um, Thank you for Angie Gates and Mayor Bowser for presenting this to the audience. So we're going to start with Miss Barry in a minute. Um, Miss Barry, I have some proposed questions. And the first question is, what is Blacks in Wax?
That's a good question, isn't it? Well, thank you
Mm-hmm.
for having us this morning. A Saturday morning, that's a commitment for these children because they are very dedicated during the week and I see they're a little groggy, but I'm going to ask them to shake it off so we can do it. Blacks in Wax is a program that we started 14 years ago in an effort to educate our kids about our Black history. I used to teach, as you said, a professor at the University of the District of Columbia. I was a political science professor, and I taught many courses in political science, but my favorite one was American government and Black politics. And so when I finally had to leave the university, when I became First Lady, and then I started the Recreation Wish List Committee and opened up the Southeast Tennis and Learning Center, I said, there's no reason just because I'm no longer in the classroom that I can't continue to teach our children our history. So I
Mm-hmm.
tried for a couple of years. I'd gather them in the round room and give them popcorn and play videos of Eyes on the Prize, the Children's March. And by the time they finished the popcorn, they were gone. And I just couldn't, I couldn't hold on to I couldn't hold their attention. So one year I said, why don't we just act it out? So we put a
Mm-hmm.
little play together in the library. Everybody had so much fun. So to make a very long story short, from the library to the stage of the Kennedy Center,
So
that
you
is how
asked,
it grew. Huh?
go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's how it grew, improved, got popular. For reasons that only God knows, we always tend to every year we outdo ourselves, and every time we
Mm,
end, I say to the producer or the director, Sheba, I said, I don't think we can do it next year. She why? I said, because we can't top this. For some
mm.
reason or other, we did, and then I knew for sure this year, once we practiced it, rehearsed it, and was ready to go up on stage, and COVID hit, I said, well, that's it. We can never,
Mm.
that's it. We won't be able to do it after all of that work. And then next thing you knew, somebody gave us the vision of trying to do it virtually, which I thought was impossible. And I absolutely want to say this is one of our best shows for a
Wow.
couple of reasons: the information, the timeliness of it, the power of the kids, but
Mm.
also the thousands and thousands and thousands of people that have seen it as a result of it being virtual than as opposed to them being on the stage at the Arc or on the stage at the Kennedy Center. So
Mm.
it's a blessing, and I'm very happy and grateful to God and for our kids who continue, because once we decided to go virtual,
Mm-hmm.
we started rehearsing on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to do it. I mean, we put them on Zoom and rehearsed them and blah, blah, blah. And it was fun. And it was, very hard, but they did it. So that's what
Okay.
Blacks and Wax is.
Wonderful. So let's segue to the young scholars. We have three of them this morning. Good morning, kings and queens. How are you guys?
Um, I'm doing good. How are you?
Okay. So just introduce yourself. Tell the audience who you are, your name, and tell them your age and what school you go to and what grade you are in
And what character you play.
and what character you play. So go ahead, young man, Malachi, I believe.
My name is Malachi. I am 10 years old in fifth grade. I go to a school called Mundo Verde, and I played Elijah Eric Cummings.
Okay. What is your favorite subject in school?
My favorite subject has to be English.
English. Wow. Okay. And we have a queen sitting up on the top of my screen, Malaysia. That's a pretty name. Introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Malaysia. I'm 12 years old. I go to a school called Central City in Southeast, and I portrayed former First Lady Michelle Obama this year.
Okay. And then we have a king at the bottom of the right of my screen. Tell us who you are.
My name is Vaughn, and I am 11 years old, and the school I go to is DCI, DC International School, and I portrayed John Lewis this year.
Okay, very well. Y'all doing amazing things. God have gifted y'all with this story to tell. And we're gonna come back to you guys after we finish talking with Miss Barry, and we have some questions for you guys. So just hang tight, and we'll get back with you. So back to Miss Barry. Blacks in Wax is in the 14th year, and in fact celebrated the 14th annual Blacks in Wax with a virtual premiere on Friday, August 9th. Has Blacks in Wax lived up to the expectations?
Whose expectations?
Your expectations.
Well, it's extended my expectations because I was very, very hesitant about doing it virtually. I couldn't see it. But then as time went on, because we've been in this quarantine for a long time, and I started seeing other things that people were doing virtually, I said, well, we can do it. So what really happens is that we have two parts to Blacks in Wax. One is a museum, and the kids are dressed up in full makeup, hair, all of that, costuming, and they stand as statues behind open stanchion, and there's a little light on the ground, and you walk up to that person, and your foot hits that light, and the light comes on, and they say, "Oh, I'm blah blah blah," or in Tiger Woods' case, it's always remember for some reason. Have you ever looked a tiger in the eye? And then they go into who their characters are, and then when they finish, you hit the button, and then they freeze again. That's the museum part. And then the other part is the vignette, which is like a 45-minute play, which is going to be shown again Saturday. I mean today at 7 o'clock. So we couldn't do the museum virtually, but we could definitely do the vignette. So that's so it exceeded expectations of everybody, and really actually. They're so good, and these kids, I just want to emphasize, are everyday kids. They all live in Ward 8, and if you're watching this show and you live anywhere else in the world other than Washington, D.C., then you can say Ward 8, you can say Harlem, you can say Compton, you can say South Side of Chicago. So it's in that community where people don't understand the greatness of our kids. And so I've often been asked, who are these kids? Who are these kids? In other words, it couldn't just be your everyday kids, but they're just, the brilliance comes out in them. And the most important thing I want to emphasize about Blacks in Wax, other than the fact that it's informational, educational, and extremely entertaining, is that it really builds a sense of self-esteem in the kids, and they're never the same again. Because once they start reading, researching, memorizing, and practicing these characters, and then get on a stage in front of thousands of people, then they can do anything.
Now, where's the actual museum located?
The actual Blacks in Wax museum that's been around for a long time, the one that's got real wax figures, is in Baltimore.
Okay,
but the one we put together, when we put this production together, we reproduce it, but we have live figures that pose as characters. I mean, as statues, and then they come alive.
So this needs to be an ongoing thing. Once COVID is over, we need to find a building so we can do this on a every day or every weekend basis.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
That is too much work. These kids got better things to do than do Blacks in Wax. No. If we do that, then we'll turn it into a theater and start paying them. Yes,
what I'm saying. Right, a theater, a building, a theater, and do this on the weekends. Exactly. Okay, so the next question is, how do you decide what characters is going to be portrayed?
That's always a very intriguing, interesting process. We have now what we call a audition, and the kids get scripts and they audition. And we let everybody who auditions participate, but what we decide from those auditions is where these people will be. Are they going to be in the museum? Are they going to be in the vignette on the stage? And what characters? Because we can see, you know, they're, and then some of them, you know, they just are carried over from, we know certain people can bring the heat, like Malaysia's been in this like 4 or 5 years. I don't know how many characters she's been, but she delivers every single time. And so we already know that we can cast her pretty much any way we want to, but we have to see the likes of Malachi, this was his first year. So then that tells us, but this little boy was so phenomenal that we took him, put him on stage, and then put him out there just like that. He had an innate talent. So
very well.
yeah.
Okay. And so the Tennis Scholars performances have been a must-see in DC over the years. Tell our viewers some of the venues where the production has been performed.
I should always have a piece of paper in front of me. Let's start with the art, the Kennedy Center, the White House, the African American Museum, the Lincoln Memorial, the MEAC Conference in North Carolina. Y'all want to help me? Yeah.
Malachi raised his hand. Go ahead, Malachi.
Those 2 museums. Those 2 churches.
Yeah, churches. They've been in churches. Okay, Lucy, the Kennedy Center. Yeah, I'm sure I'm leaving some things out, but the Lincoln Theater as well as the Howard Theater. So pretty much all the, yeah.
Vaughn had his hand raised.
And the Wilson Building.
And the Wilson Building, which is City Hall, which they perform every year for them and Blacks and Wax. So pretty much.
So how do they get invited? Do these places invite you and the team, or how does?
I mean, other than that, we would not know. Every year, the city council or the mayor calls us and asks us will we be on their Blacks History Month program down at City Hall. We're the only group that they use every year. They rotate everybody else out, but they always want to use us. The same thing with all of them, the African American Museum, the White House, they know about us and they ask for us.
Oh, very well. So how can the viewers access this year's performance online?
Well, we're on YouTube and we're on Vimeo. They can just go up Blacks and Wax 2020.
Now the resident.
Do you have any snippets to show these kids?
Yes, we are. We're gonna show them. We're gonna show them before we interview them. We're gonna give the audience a taste of their talent. So we're definitely gonna show them. We have it up and ready. So before we go segue into their questions, we're gonna show it. So yeah, I'm waiting to see it. This is my first time, so I'm excited as well.
Oh my God. So and then when you see the snippets, I encourage you to just sit and watch the total performance, because it's not just words and characters, but it's wonderful music that the Washington Performing Arts. I don't know if you've ever heard this song by Kirk Franklin saying we're gonna be okay. It's a fabulous song. So that's in there. We have videos. It's very interesting. It's a page turner. So you should watch it.
Very well. I definitely going to do that, and that's tonight at 7.
Yes, the full performance.
On DC 16.
Yes.
The full. Yeah. Oh, I'm not. I'll be ready. Popcorn and everything. I'm going to invite. Well, I can't invite folks over. We're quarantined.
Well, okay, so watch party.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. A watch party. We set up a watch party. We're quiet on the set, and we'll set up a watch party, and we invite my my audience to watch it. Very well. Thank you. So now the residents of the district will be able to watch your award-winning production tonight. And you told us where, on YouTube, right? On Channel 16.
Channel 16, DCN, Channel 16, if you want to turn on the TV. If not, you can watch it on Facebook Live as well as on Vimeo.
Okay. Now, what else do you have planned for the Black and Wax? What's in the future for it?
That's the question that everybody laughs at me, because I always say this is the last year because it's so much involved. I mean, it is a lot of work. And I wanted to get to 15 years. Next year is 15 years. So we have one more year that I know we're going to do it. And then we'll have 15 performances in the bag. or in the can, as you always say in the business. Because it's so informational and it's so educational, and I am the one who conceives of the theme and the characters, and even with that, when the scripts are finished being written and the research is done, start with me as a political science professor. I learn something every single time, and everybody who watches it. So a lot of people say, I want my kids to watch it. No, no, no. Everybody needs to watch it, because if there's ever anything I can tell you about our people, and in this country, not just our people, they don't know their history. We don't know
Right.
our history, and we don't understand how the government works. And so when you
Right.
look at something like Blacks and Wax, you walk away saying, not only do I understand why I should vote, but I know so much more about Sojourner Truth. I didn't know that Jesse Jackson delivered that speech at the foot of the Lincoln Memorial. I had no idea that Shirley Chisholm had all of those challenges and all of those people worked against her. How would I know
Right.
these
Exactly.
different things that you learn? So it's so educational.
So you're saying that you're going to pass you're going to end it at 15 years. So are you going to pass the baton to someone else? I
I'm
think it should
trying.
carry on. Yeah, and make sure it goes to 25 years, 30 years,
All
40
right.
years,
Okay.
because our history is always evolving and is always moving forward. So we can't stop there. We have to move forward.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I take that under advisement.
Yes,
But
please do so.
I am looking for somebody to pass it on to. It's the thing that makes it unique as it relates to me, but not that anybody else can't do it, but because I am literally almost a walking history book myself.
Yes,
Because
indeed, you are.
I spent 20 years teaching this stuff and researching this stuff, so it's in my DNA. So I can just
Uh-huh.
pull stuff up, I can say,
Uh-huh.
pull that speech, Jesse Jackson's speech on David and Goliath. I saw that speech 20 years ago, but I never forgot it. So it requires somebody to be sensitive to history and understand it, because the most important thing about this is it brings alive historical characters, and as we'll see in Malaysia's case, current people. It takes you from Sojourner Truth to Kamala Harris.
Wow. I would like, this is my thought in my head while you was talking in terms of bringing forth different characters in history. I would just love to see some of the kids reenact, like get the lives of some of the slain victims, what they were doing before they were slain. That would be something powerful.
Wow, you put that in my head. Oh, wow, you don't know me, but when something like that, that's a powerful, powerful suggestion. Don't be surprised. I'll see you next year.
Oh, see me next year, because I'll be there.
Because I hadn't thought about that. That's a big challenge, but I think it's something people would want to see.
Yeah, challenges are good. So you can
Yeah,
definitely
you can
do
do
it.
Breonna Taylor and
Yeah,
Trayvon Martin, and
Martin
yes,
and
yes,
Rice, Tremere and Rice and all.
and
Yes,
all
that
of
would
them,
be
yes.
very, very powerful story to tell. And if you need help telling it, let me know. We're filmmakers over here and stage directors and stuff. So
I'm gonna take you up on that. Somebody need to warn you about me.
well, see, I known you from UDC, so I'm a graduate from UDC, so I know.
Okay.
Very well. So we're going to segue just a little bit into. We're going to come back to you because I got some more thoughts in my head, but we want the audience to talk, see the kids. So we're going to segue into the video that we have an excerpt of the video, a couple of minutes to play, so they can see the kids in action, and then we're going to segue back into the interview process. Okay, you want to run the video? We're going to run the video. Can they see it? Okay. I can't hear it. There's no sound. No sound. Want to come back to it? Okay, little technical difficulties with the sound. We're gonna come back to the video in a minute once the crew get that together. So here's the questions for the scholar. We're gonna run the video. When you tell us it's ready, and you got sound, then we can play it, but I'll start with the questions first. Okay, so it's a difficult portraying. Anybody can take this question. Malaysia, King Malachi, or King Vaughn. Anyone can take this. Raise your hand if the first one want to answer the question. Is it difficult portraying the various icons you are portraying? How do you prepare? Okay, King Malachi.
Well, it is very difficult. First, First, you gotta audition to get a part in Black Max. Then you have to study on the computer almost all day. Be watching videos and writing papers. That's how you get into character.
Okay, how about you, Queen Malaysia? Can't hear her. We have no sound with her.
Oh, I'm here.
Okay, very well. How about you, Queen Malaysia?
It's pretty difficult. You have to be very dedicated, and you have to be good at accepting feedback from Miss Berry because she knows what she's doing.
Ha
so taking her feedback.
Okay, and King Vaughn?
I would say the same thing. It's pretty hard because we have to get into character, like change our voices, change our hand movements, like walk around a certain way, and so it's a pretty hard process.
Okay, very well. Is the video ready? Okay, so we'll go to the second question. Do you tell Miss Berry and the counselors which persons you want to portray, or do they assign an individual to you? Anyone can take it. Go ahead, Queen Malaysia.
Well, you can suggest what you would like to be, and the audition isn't to portray who you want. It's to see who they would select you to be. They want to see how good you give off that character so they can decide who you're going to be in the actual show.
So how much time does it take to research and pull that character together?
A couple days.
Oh, you good.
Yeah, I think the question was wrong. I don't know what she's talking about. What happens in a couple of days is pulling that together. I've never seen that, except maybe my Malachi is the first person ever stepped on that stage and knocked everybody's socks off the first time he opened his mouth, because he's a prodigy, I think. But these kids only have a week to learn the script. I only give them a week to memorize it. There's no paper after the week. I don't care how long the script is. I don't care how complicated it is.
Wow.
I don't tolerate it, learn it, put it down. There's no more paper. Because you know why? Because I see what they do in other areas. So don't tell me you can't do this. You know every song to that rap. You learned it. I know you can learn this script. So we hold them on a very high standard, and we insist that they meet it. And sometimes it's hard. So what couple of days did it take you to do what, Malaysia? I would love to know when that took place.
I was talking about just to learn the script.
To learn the script.
It takes weeks.
Okay. And what about you, King Vaughn? What's your process? How do you internalize the script and portraying that character? I don't have sound from him. Can you speak?
Okay.
Yes.
So me, it takes to memorize a script like 3 to 4 days. Then to get into character, it takes me about like a couple of weeks, because it's basically a lot. Like with John Lewis, I had to add he's really preachy, so I had to add like preachy to myself, and the hand movements again. Yeah, the hand movements. So I like watched videos and researched him, and so yeah, it's a pretty long process.
Okay, very well. Is the video ready with sound? Okay, we're gonna segue to the video and see if we got sound.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
I'll tell you when I'm ready to.
I still see people shouting those words even in my school. I still see people marching, and I've seen so much anger and so many tears since they killed another Black man in the streets unjustly. His name was George Floyd. And I'm not too young to know that it isn't fair and it isn't right. And there will be no peace if there is no justice for George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, Freddie, Sandra Bland, Tanisha Anderson, Philando Castile, and the list goes on. We must fight. We have to make sure if you are old enough to vote, you will practice that right. Please vote. Make the right choice because your life depends on it. And so does mine. And his, and hers, and his, and hers.
I'm a young black man doing all that I can to stand. Oh, but when I look around and I see what's being done to my kind every day, I'm being haunted as prey. My people don't want no trouble. We've had enough struggle. I just want to live.
Right on the set.
Far spacious skies, far amber waves of grain, far purple mountain majesties, over the fruited plain.
You know, this is the whole production. Do you
Okay.
know that?
Right. See, we didn't want to.
You're not doing the snippets of
No,
the
we want to do the snippet.
This is wonderful,
they're
but this is the
showing
whole
them.
production.
Jesse Jackson, running for the Democratic nomination in 1984, addresses a crowd at Tindley Baptist Church in
We
Philadelphia.
want to do just where they are. You want to find it.
Jay,
Okay, this is him.
You want somebody who march for you to get the right to vote. You got a choice. You want somebody who challenged corporate America to hire and give you contracts.
He played a larger comment.
You got a choice. It's choice time. Yeah. It's time for a new coalition. A new coalition. A new leadership.
So, can they hear me?
Red, yellow, black, and white. We all places and guys same. Somebody gotta rise above race, rise above sex.
Okay, so we're gonna come back to the video to show these three characters. Because we were showing the audience some of the highlights of the
production.
The production. Right. So let's go back to the young scholars. How different was it this year? How different was it this year for you with the performance being virtual? Have you missed the audience and performing at the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, which has been a main performance venue each year for you? King Vaughn?
I guess I missed the audience because when I was performing and they responded to me, it made me feel more confident and like more hype to keep on going.
Okay. And what about you, Queen Malaysia? Can't hear him. She's okay.
You can hear. Yeah, I would say the same thing as Vaughn. When you hear the audience cheering you and clapping you on, it makes you feel better about the script you're doing.
Okay. And Malachi, King Malachi, what's your take on it?
Not real. I don't really know how it feels because this is my
But
first
you
time.
were able to go before 3 churches, and the other kids didn't get a chance to do that.
So how did you feel when you did it
Oh
at the
yeah,
churches?
the churches. I'd say the same thing about Malaysia. It feels really good when the audience just laps you on. No matter which script you say.
So
No, you
let
know,
me.
the thing I want to respond to that also is that these
Uh-huh.
kids work really hard, but we only get about 80% out of them in rehearsal.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they get on that stage, that other 20% comes up. When they get
That's
with
what.
that audience, that's when we're like, well, who is that? We didn't even know she could get that into it. But the
Right.
audience is a call and response, and the people love it so much that they are very
Uh-huh.
emotive and very, enthusiastic. And the kids
Uh-huh.
got that extra confidence comes up, and the kids just kill it. So
Yeah.
that's the benefit of it. The benefit of virtual on the other side of it is if they make a mistake, they can stop and do it over again. They don't
Right.
have that chance on the stage. It's all out. You leave it all on the stage, one way or the other.
Now I know that Malachi, King Malachi, you said that you never acted before, you never done it before. Are either of you guys interested in going to acting? I know y'all want to be different things in life. So, King Malachi, are you interested in going to acting?
Yes, I am an actor.
Oh, right, he is. He said, I am.
I'm currently in a play called the ADA Project.
Okay.
And in December I will be in a TV show called Go One.
Wow. Fantastic.
And this all
Fantastic.
came out of Blacks and Wax. After he did Blacks and Wax is when he discovered he had this ability.
Wow, you never know. A hidden jewel. What about you, Queen Malaysia?
Well, I like to act, but my long-time dream is to become an entrepreneur. But I like acting, so I would probably still continue doing acting.
And what do you want to be besides acting? You said after finishing school?
Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. So you're going to business. You're going to study business, huh?
Yeah.
And what about you, King Vaughn?
I like acting, but I don't really want to grow up and be an actor. But I like doing Blacks and Wax, so I'll continue to do Blacks and Wax.
Okay.
What do you want to be?
I want to be like an engineer.
Okay. Lots of math, lots of science. You'll get there.
Yes.
Miss Cora, Master Barriers, you can go back and teach these three. Go back into the classroom.
I have 200 kids every day to teach. I'm good.
Okay, very well. So the video is ready with the excerpts on it. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the video, guys, and show your excerpts. Okay, so just hang tight for a moment. You ready? Okay.
Elijah Cummings. And I don't give a darn how you look at it. There are efforts to stop people from voting. That's not right. This is not Russia. This is the United States of America. We are better than this. Sadly, we are still fighting for the right to vote for all Americans. There is still persistent voter discrimination that must be addressed. From longer voting lines for minorities to the racially motivated efforts to suppress the vote. As leader of the House Oversight Committee, my team launched an investigation into claims that several states had suppressed voters during the 2018 election. The first investigation was in Georgia after the governor's race, which was marred by allegations of voter suppression due to the purging of hundreds of thousands of voters, the closing of more than 200 polling places, long lines, and ballot problems on election day. We expanded our investigation into other states, including Kansas and Texas, which have been accused of attempting to purge naturalized citizens and moving polling places away from non-white voters. As civil rights and voting rights groups continue to fight against voting-related laws in states like Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas, congressional support is critical to their mission. Congress is the federal body with the power to fully restore the Voting Rights Act. And I will fight until the death to make sure every citizen, whether they're Freedom Party, whether they're Green Party, whether they're Democrat, whether they're Republican, has that right to vote, because it is the essence of our democracy.
As a young John Lewis, I loved hearing the sermons.
That's Vaughn? Okay. Cut that one. Okay, so that was King Malachi doing his thing. And we're going to go with another question, and we're going to show the next young scholar doing their thing. So the next question is, what individual do you guys admire enough to really to portray him or her in the future?
Well, I do admire Chadwick Boseman. He's my favorite actor, and his movies really made Black people feel good about themselves.
Mm-hmm. And what about you, Queen Malaysia?
I don't know, really. I have to think about that question.
Okay, you got several out there. Now you got Kamala Harris, so you can portray Kamala. You can portray, well, you do Michelle Obama, right?
Well, who else have you portrayed, Malaysia? Use your brain.
Daisy Bates, Kathy Hughes, Maxine Waters, Yara Shahidi, and then Michelle Obama this year.
Okay. And what about you, King Von?
I would want to portray Colin Kaepernick because he started the peaceful protest in the NFL for Black Lives.
Very well. So I'm gonna segue back over. Are you ready to show who you're showing now? Malaysia. So we're gonna have Malaysia, Queen Malaysia excerpt come on now. Ready? Okay.
The former First Lady of the United States, Michelle Obama.
When our children have to tell us what we need to do to protect them, when as adults we should inherently know what to do, then our country indeed is in turmoil. As the former First Lady of the United States, Barack and I made the excruciating visits too many times to console families who lost loved ones to gun violence. We advocated for gun control, but it was denied by the Congress because we didn't show up for midterm elections. Yes, you turned out and voted for Barack Obama in 2008 and proved once again that when we all vote, we can make a difference. But it's not enough just to vote for president every 4 years. We have to vote in every single election. But here's the problem. While some folks are frustrated and stay home on election day, trust me, Other folks are showing up. Democracy continues with or without you. The people who show up to vote will elect the sheriffs who will police our streets and the prosecutors who will pursue justice. They'll determine the mayors and the city council members who will decide to fix our crumbling roads. Or not. They'll determine who represents us in Congress and how much power each party controls over Washington. The only question is, are you going to let somebody else decide all of that for you? Are you going to give someone else that much control over your life? Because that's what you're doing when you don't vote. You're putting your future in the hands of others. There are so many organizations that have been put in place to help you vote, like Fair Fight 2020, spearheaded by Stacey Abrams, that is here to ensure that people know about the obstacles that have been placed in their way. More Than a Vote, started by LeBron James, to enlist the support of other athletes and entertainers, to raise their voices and use their platforms to get out the vote. And Still I Vote, launched by the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, supported by our many celebrity influencers. So no excuses. Hashtag when we all vote. Hashtag more than a vote. Hashtag Fair Fight 2020. Hashtag and Still I Vote. Hashtag vote. It's gonna be okay.
Okay, so I have a couple of more questions for the young scholars. Has
That
your
was
life,
very good, Malaysia.
yes, very good. Have your life changed since acting with the Black on Wax? Malaysia?
It has changed. It has boosted my confidence so much. When I first started it when I was 7, that was my first time being in the show. I was very shy, and now that I have been doing it for 5 years, I have gotten so much confidence, and I want to thank Miss Berry for that, because if I wouldn't have been this confident if it wasn't for her.
Okay, and King Malachi, how did your life change since you've been acting in the Black and Wax? No sound. You have no
You
sound.
muted yourself.
You.
I just have more confidence.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you started your acting career as a result of it, right?
And I also started my acting career as a result.
Okay. Very well. How do your friends treat you? Are you a little celebrity?
Friends, they don't even really know about that yet.
Have they been to or have they seen the Black and Wax? Have y'all engaged them or invited them?
Yeah,
They didn't
I
have a chance.
invited my teachers once.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
at first I thought Blacks and Wax was just something that I was about to get forced to do.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized that it's actually all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me realize that I love acting.
Oh, okay. So you're going to be a true thespian. I hear that. You're going to be on stage in front of the camera and everything. We have to pick him up, Theo, when we do one of our films. Okay, Malik, Vaughn, how did Black and Wax change your life?
It changed my life by being, like Malaysia and Malachi said, it changed my confidence in performing in front of people, and it taught me about Black lives and Black activists that helped us get here.
Okay. Are you ready to show Vaughn's excerpt? You are? Talking to my tech people. You ready? Okay, we're going to show Vaughn. Why is the space saver over his face, over Malachi's face? Hold on, in a moment. Okay.
Of Dr. King. They were my inspiration and encouraged me to act on changes I wanted to see. In 1957, I helped to organize sit-ins at segregated lunch counters. I was arrested during these demonstrations, which upset my mother, who always said, "Don't get in trouble, don't get in the way." Well, I got in trouble and I got in the way, but it was necessary trouble. In 1961, I was one of the freedom riders who challenged segregation at bus terminals in the South. It was dangerous work that resulted in arrests and beatings for me and many others in the movement. But I fought on and became chairman of SNCC, then part of the Big Six leaders organizing the March on Washington with Dr. King. After the march in 1964, the Civil Rights Act became law, but injustices continued. To bring attention to the struggle, I, along with Hosea Williams, led a march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama on Sunday, March 7th, 1965. On that day, we were attacked by state troopers. It was brutal. This time I was severely beaten and suffered a fractured skull. The attack on us marchers was so bad that this day became known as Bloody Sunday. I was so devastated by Dr. King's assassination and by the assassination of Robert Kennedy. But I had to press on. My work led me to the United States Congress, where I represented Georgia's 5th District beginning in 1986. I made it to 80 years old, and I commemorated the 55th anniversary of Bloody Sunday in March 2020 with yet another peaceful walk across that infamous Edmund Pettus Bridge into Selma, Alabama. During my final days, you fill me with hope about the next chapter of the great American story when you use your power to make a difference in our society. I saw millions of people motivated simply by human compassion lay down the burdens of division. And around the country and the world, you set aside race, class, age, language, and nationality to demand respect and dignity. That is why I had to visit Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington, D.C. with Mayor Bowser. Though I was admitted to the hospital the following day, I just had to see and feel it for myself that after many years of silent witness, the truth is still marching on. You cannot give up now. You cannot give in. You must keep the faith and keep your eyes.
What happened?
And you must go out and vote like you have never, ever voted before.
Brother.
Cut.
There's far.
Okay, excellent performance, guys. I am overwhelmed with joy that you guys can carry such a heavy load and prevail. That was great. I have a couple of questions, and anyone can answer. First of all, I'm gonna start with the youth, because I think this is a loaded question for them, and I want you guys to really think. What are your feelings about police brutality and civil injustice in the Black community, and what would you like to be changed? Queen, Malaysia.
Well, I think it's unfair, first off, that Black people shouldn't be murdered in the streets so senselessly just because of the color of our skin. And I would like for us to be able to leave out of our homes knowing that we can make it back home for dinner the next day.
Okay, and King Vaughn?
I'm mad about police brutality because they're killing us and doing horrible things to us just because we're Black, and they say that they feel threatened, and they're beating us for no reason just because of our color of our skin, and it's not right, and it's unfair.
and King Malachi. Can you hear?
Well, I just think it's very unfair because the last words of a man that was being choked by a police was "I can't breathe." And just because of the color of his skin, he was killed.
And so what would you guys like to have change?
I want black people to be completely treated equally.
Okay. Anyone have any other thoughts from? Go ahead, Vaughn.
What was I gonna say? That they need to, yes, like Malachi said, it needs to change completely. And like the police, when they're killing us, they're not getting charged with much things. Like we have to protest and walk around the streets to make them want to like put the police who killed George Floyd in jail and that stuff like that.
Do you have anything to add, Queen Malaysia?
Yes, I agree with Vaughn. I believe that if you kill somebody, that's murder regardless of what social status you have in this world. So if you kill somebody, you should be brought to jail immediately. Or if it was self-defense, then let it be that. But if there's no way, you should be walking around freely months later.
Very well. Out of the words of babes comes the truth. Miss Barry.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna pose the same question to you.
And that is what? I was so listening to the kids.
I know we got the question was, what are your feelings about police brutality and civil injustice in the Black community? And how would you like it to be changed?
Well, I'm a historian, and I have a show called There's Nothing New Under the Sun, and it's sad and as horrible as it is, this is not new. We've had people lynching and killing our people since they brought us over here in chains, and they've done it with the law on their side. What is happening now, I think, is an extension of that. I think in some cases a state sanctioned murder, and that these people need to be held accountable. They need to, like Malaysia said, if it's self-defense, let the courts decide that. But they all need to be brought in justice, and they need to change the laws that protect them.
Okay. So I was just notified that Malachi, you have to leave in a few minutes. So we're going to try to end in the next couple of minutes so you can be out of the studio in time. So I have one more question for Miss Barry. Why did you decide to use youth instead of adults for this Black and Wax?
Well, I don't understand the question, quite frankly. It's a tennis center for children.
Oh, the tennis center. Okay. No, I misunderstood. I was reading something.
Adults for children. In the evening, but we have a full program. Maybe I should say that. The Southeast Tennis and Learning Center is a program that teaches tennis. Right. And it does academics. It has STEM, it has sewing, it has homework assistance, it has computer literacy. So these kids come and they matriculate after school to boost up their already academics that they have in school, and we add new things to the curriculum. They play tennis. They love tennis, and we have a theme at the Southeast Tennis and Learning Center that says tennis is the hook, but education is the key. So the children the people that we use are the children that we serve. And as I said at the beginning, my issue was trying to teach them their Black history, and we came up with a creative way to do it. Okay, very well. And I forget that it was the tennis tennis center for education for children. Southeast Tennis and Learning Center. Yeah, Southeast Tennis and Learning Center for children. I was 7 to 17. Right. So I was correlating the question more so with theater. I didn't think about the tennis, so my bad. So if anyone has anything to say right now in the 2 minutes in regards to what needs to happen in the future with this project, or
Any endeavors, any future endeavors, King King Vaughn, King Malachi, or Queen Malaysia? Go ahead and shout out. You want to shout out to friends or whatever? This is your time.
I would thank Miss Berry for this amazing production. Thank my parents for putting me in it. That's it.
Okay, Malachi, we're gonna let you.
I just want to thank Miss Berry for creating this amazing production.
Very well. And Vaughn?
I also want to thank Miss Berry for creating this and teaching everyone about our Black history. So, like with my character, I haven't just learned about my character, but I've learned about other, like Malachi's character. I've learned more about his character and Malaysia's character. I learned about multiple characters.
Very well. And to the great Cora Master Barrys, any last words?
Well, just everybody tune in this evening. This is a remarkable production. It's not just about watching and supporting the kids, but it's about learning something and being entertained at the same time. So 7 o'clock tonight, channel 16, DCN, DBN. And if you miss it on television, then go to YouTube, Blacks and Wax 2020 or Vimeo.
Very well. Quiet on the Set magazine, really thank you guys for taking out the time to talk with us about this production. And we wish you all the best. Godspeed, be safe, be cautious, stay woke.
Stay woke. And as we always say, you don't have to be in the streets, but you do have to stay in the struggle.
That's exactly right. Miss Barry, can you stick around after everyone else? We would like to talk to you a little further.
Sure, my pleasure.
Okay, very well. So, guys, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll be praying for you three. Y'all amazing young people. A lot to offer in life. And I wish you well.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. It's just Barry. Hi. How are you, ma'am?
I'm great. Very
well. That was very informative. I'm very excited. Never really knew too much about the Black and Wax. We did cover the 25th anniversary, Thea. Was that the 25th anniversary?
Right.
The gala, and you was there. We missed you by like 3 people was in front of us trying to interview, so we didn't really get a chance to talk to you in person.
Okay.
But it's an amazing project that is being, and hopefully it goes to 25 years.
It probably will.
You know, yeah. And so like I said, if you need any help or anything like that, just let us know. Let Ramon know. She'll get with us and we'll help.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support that you've already shown, and we look forward to many great things. We are learning, like everybody else, how to be creative. It's a different environment, but human beings do adapt, don't they?
Yeah, you're right. Now, there's another thing. As filmmakers, I do documentaries and all, and feature films, commercials and stuff. But one of my associates, we were sitting there talking, and cut off. Can we still talk?